Good evening, Final Fantasy community. This is your host, Lawrence Oliva, and welcome to the first semifinal match for the U.S. OCTGN Open. The match tonight is a mirror water match, going to be between Collin Rupert and Mohammad Ahmad, two very, very accomplished players. Obviously, Collin taking the Fire Crystal Cup, and I'm pretty excited to see just how long this match is going to go. All right, let's get things underway and get these guys going. Appreciate all of you guys joining us for this live match. Bear with me. It's if there's any technical difficulties or whatever, just let me know. I'm trying to get everything set up and good. All right, so we see Mohammad winning the dice roll. Here we go. So what do you guys think? Any predictions? Is it going to go to 3 games? Is somebody going to take it 2-0? If you look on the OCTGN event, I have all the deck lists posted there for the top 8. And I gotta say, I am a pretty big fan of Muhammad's list, actually. I think it's closest to mine that I've been working on. All right, so we see Muhammad start, discarding a Chuchulain for Artemisian. Fantastic opener. Get those cards cycled through. Muhammad opting to just do 1 card, so apparently he has a pretty good hand, and down comes the Yuna. Great opener for Mono Water. Can't ask for much more than that. You guys can hear me okay? Everything sounds good? Everything looks good? All right, we see Collin throw down a Scholar, discarding a Knight, and he discards Leviathan for Gladiator. So both players, 2 backups turn 1. Not too shabby there. Muhammad just playing down a Scholar and passing, trying to play some efficient cards, keep as many cards in hand as possible. Thanks, TCG Titans. I guess that's Sergio, one of our sponsors. Thanks for being here, man. We see Collin throwing down a Merrill Web. So he's going to draw 2 and discard 1 off of that. Both players just doing what Water likes to do, playing the backup game so they can get those really oppressive turns later on off 5 backups. I'm taking bets now. I'll bet anybody $10 that we don't see a forward before they both play 5 backups. What do you think? And down comes the Bronze, so he's going to search out a standard unit. Probably Viking if he has Layla in hand, or Knight just to discard it later on. Out comes the Viking, so one could easily predict a Layla Viking next turn. He might even play it this turn. Opts to play it next turn probably. Yeah, who runs out of backups first? There you go. That's exactly it. And down comes the Brawn. And Knight's already in the break zone, so yeah, he's definitely going to search that Viking out. Game one is off to an exciting start. 4 backups for both players. Both have Vikings in hand. Collin at 6 cards, though. Not the worst decision to lay the Viking right now. Pitching 2, play the Layla. And the Viking comes in and he draws. Nope, he opts to get the Yuna. So sends Viking to the break zone. So that Layla is live. Let's see what Mohammad decides to do now. Paying 3 to just straight play the Viking. And pays 3 to play down the Waka. Waka is very, very relevant in this matchup. And Collin only able to get rid of the Scholar to play it on a future turn. Oh no, he has Gladiator as well. So not too bad. He'll get that Waka down eventually. Definitely a relevant card right now. Alright, so Collin paying the 4 to get the Layla Viking going. Get that 6 card in hand. And what is he going to do to follow up? And paying 3 to play Ash. So Collin trying to establish a board. His follow-up turn to apply some pressure. Let's see what Mohammad can do to answer that board state. Otherwise, we're going to see some damage start flying. Mohammad paying 4 for a Porum. So he's going to go search for a card. Maybe he's looking for an answer to that Ash. Maybe he found a card he likes. Porum's pretty relevant in this matchup for sure. Locking down the backup removal as long as she stays on the field. Preventing Ash from activating. A few other cards that are relevant with her effect. You know, Muhammad's playing 3 of her. And down comes the Kegnazo. So we see an early Kegnazo from Muhammad. 8 characters on board, minus 4K. That should actually be a 3K. Just double checking myself, yeah. So Ash is a 3K. Get that power fixed. No problem. And we see a Viking going in for a point of damage. Mohammad is probably going to strike first. Yuna goes over to damage, which I'm sure Collin's happy to see because he already has the Yuna on board. And it looks like Mohammad has a follow-up turn. Oh, and a Famfrit. Wow, and just like that, Mohammad gets rid of the Ash, gets in the point of damage, gets a card off the Viking. Has a very relevant effect in Porum, and arguably Water's best blocker in Cagnazzo. But Collin having a full grip of cards in his hand, 7 cards. He is in a very good position, and of course down comes the Famfrit. Let's shrink Mohammad's board a little bit, and he opts to get rid of the Cagnazzo, which is a fine choice at the early stage of the game. Mohammad definitely wanting to keep that Porum on board as long as possible. Yeah, it's still technically anyone's game, but having that walk it down is definitely helping Mohammad. And down comes the Lena. Collin discarded the Knight turn 1, so Knight was ready to go and enters for free, 8K and a 7K. And again, Mohammad has to answer a board state that Collin has created. Otherwise, he's going to be swinging in for some damage next turn. Mohammad looks like he's carefully planning his turns. Kind of wish we could see their cards just to see kind of what their lines are, what they're capable of. And instead of leaving Porum up, Mohammad going in for the Porum hit. I think Collin should just probably take that damage here. Unless, of course, he maybe has another Lena in hand. He is not worried about Lena. He's going to force out that answer out of Mohammad's hand. And down comes the Chuchulain. With 5 dual backups, Lena becomes a 2K, allowing Mohammad to draw off the Chuchulain. I guess Mohammad realized that the Scholar and the Gladiator are kind of irrelevant right now. So no use to keeping Porum up. Get rid of one of Collin's forwards. And is it Veritas? And there comes the Veritas. Any of you that have, I'm sure, been either playing at the Fire Crystal Cup or keeping up with the meta in general, both here in the States and overseas, have seen a ton of Veritas. Apparently card's good. Who would have thought? I definitely like Veritas in mono water. I think the best, just because the deck is very controlling. Famford is a fantastic card, especially if you combo it with Veritas. That can really put you in a bad position quick. Collin opting to pitch and pay 2 to play down a Porum. He's going to go fishing. What are we fishing for? Maybe he's looking for his own Veritas. Maybe he's looking for a summon. And we see Collin pay 3 and 5 to play another Lena. So Lena Knight comes back. So Collin had the Lena in hand, was more than happy to get rid of it and force that answer out of Mohammad's hand to replay that Lena Knight combo. I mean, that's the water mirror match in a nutshell. Who has the answers at any given moment? Collin, obviously a very experienced water player. He knows he's got to rip all those answers out of Mohammad's deck. He has 6 summons, I believe. I think it's 6. I think it's 3 Famford and 3 Chuchulain. Not opting to run the new Leviathan. So those summons becoming ever more critical in Mohammad's deck. And with 1 Veritas gone, I believe he's running 2, which is good news for Collin. Mohammad going in for a strike with the Veritas. Collin not wanting to lose anything, just takes the point of damage. Mohammad probably needs to do something here unless he's got a couple answers. Porum is not the best blocker in the world. And Mohammad opts to to play Famfrit and take the Veritas off. So Veritas getting his break zone effect. Collin's going to think about what he wants to get rid of. I don't know how many Brawn or Marrow Web he's running. I think he's running 2 of each. And he opts to choose the Lena. I'm surprised in that. Maybe he's got a 3rd Lena in hand. Maybe he bricked early. He got 3 Lenas. Who knows? We'll know next turn if he decides to play another one. Sorry, in the next turn or 2. But Mohammad opting to do something else as well. He pitches a Gramps, Knight. Oh, and he's got another Veritas. Wow. And just like that, the second time this game, Mohammad has cleared Collin's board and set up pretty good presence for next turn. He is down to 1 card though. Water does not want to get down that low, but he has an established board and he can swing past next turn without necessarily having to play anything. Collin is in a pretty good position with both Veritas being either in the break zone or played. A couple of summons being used already. I believe it was 2 Famford and a Chuchulain. Collin opting just to playing the Viking from hand to draw a card to get a blocking body on the board. And then Collin paying 2. Is he going to... I think he's got a Viking in his break zone. Is he going to do another? Oh, he's just going to straight play a Viking. Or I'm sorry, a Knight. Which is more than enough to block the Veritas. So that is not a bad line for next turn. For Collin to deal with that Veritas efficiently and getting the card draw off of it. If Mohammad decides to swing. Both players threw half their decks. Mohammad slight advantage at 3 cards. I think that's definitely going to be a factor in one or more of these games today. Especially that we're at 2-0. We've only seen 1 Cagnazzo on both sides total, and no Nicole's. I think the Nicole is a pretty good play right now, if Mohammad has it. Especially with the Scholar down. Kind of protect it for future turns. Can also choose to bounce the Veritas if he so chose later on. Yeah, I do not dislike a Nicole play right now. Mohammad thinking about what he wants to do, and he opts to swing in with the Veritas. And overturns the Layla. Mohammad just keep applying that pressure. Is he going to swing in again for the forum? He's using a lot of answers. He's definitely getting some damage in. Got a couple of spectators. It looks like we got JFB from the UK and Josh Guh. All right, so Mohammad opting not to go in with the Purim. Seems like the right decision without knowing his hand. He's definitely thinking about playing something else, though. Can't be a Nicole I would assume that he'd want to go in with the Porum as well. He's got enough cards for Nicole Cag, but that's hardly worth it to that board state. And he decides to go in with the Porum. And down comes Nicole. Down comes Nicole. So he forced the block on Porum. Not a bad line. I think he's got 2 Porum gone. He might have 1 more in hand. So maybe he was okay with losing it. I probably would have kept it, but that seems to be fine. It's an interesting match for sure. Mohammad's definitely answered Collin's board state 3 times now, unanswered. Collin has definitely got a whole host of answers still left in his deck. We've only seen, I think, 1 summon. I think he runs 8 or 9. Here comes the Veritas for Collin. Now that is Mohammad's second Veritas on the board. So if he opts to break it, Collin can respond by breaking his own Veritas, and then Mohammad would either have to get rid of the Nicole or one of his backups. Or if Mohammad has 2 backups in hand, then he can just opt to get rid of probably the Artemisian or the Brawn. And he opts to get rid of the Veritas, so no more Veritas left for Mohammad. And Collin using Mohammad's Veritas effect to get rid of his Veritas, to then turn around and get rid of one of Mohammad's characters. He opts to get rid of Artemisian, especially if he has one in hand. If he has Artemisian in hand, that's a fantastic play, because he could very well have another backup. Maybe he draws 2 irrelevant cards, and just like that, he'd be able to cycle those cards down and hopefully get some premium cards. And here come the answers from Collin, opting to play the Famfrit. And just like that, Collin broke down Mohammad's board and got rid of a backup. Collin has responded to Mohammad's board state for the first time this game and is in a pretty good position to try and turn this thing around. He's definitely going to have to get some cards out, some forwards out, and start applying some pressure and some damage. Collin will be drawing down to 16 with Mohammad being at 23. 7 card discrepancy is pretty sizable in a mirror matchup. Mohammad opting to play down a Scholar and paying 2 for a Knight. Wow, so a 9k Knight. Very efficient turn to get back to those 5 backups to beat out that Veritas effect. 2 Scholars on board, so he has some protection built in for future turns. And a nice 9k body. And we see Collin paying 4. Is he going to play another Veritas? Looks like it. And down comes the Veritas. Not terrible for Mohammad because he only paid 2 for that Knight. Collin starting to apply some pressure and hoping he can start swinging in for some damage. And down comes a Lena Knight. Wow. So 8 and 9k. At this point in time, Collin's got to be careful. He has 7 turns max, and if he EXs a draw effect or draws some more of his deck out, he's in a pretty bad position. He's really got to watch his lines now if he wants to try and salvage this game, because he is not in a bad position by any means, but having 7 turns left, definitely putting him on the clock. I mean, he needs an average of a point of damage per turn, right? And there's a 5-card discrepancy after Mohammad starts his turn. So technically, Collin needs to deal 6 points of damage to get ahead. But then he would have to ward off any future damage. So I don't think that's going to happen on Collin's side. Unless he has a Nicole Cagnazzo set up right now. What would that give him? Nicole would be 5k, Cag would come down, would be minus 3k, so he'd still be 1k off on the Knight. So he would need to like play a Viking, draw, play Nicole, play Cag. That would board wipe him, swing in for a point of damage, and then he has a pretty good little board state set up. He's got 5 cards in hand. That 9k Knight being so important. Plug these guys real quick. Mohammad, he's got a pretty good personality, this guy. I never really met him or talked to him before this tournament, but pretty funny guy. Down comes the Nicole. Like I said, I figured that was coming. The Cagnazzo's probably coming. But being 1 off on that Knight, that hurts. That walk it back up. Definitely hurting Collin right now. And down. Does he have a Viking? Nope, he's going to play the Cagnazzo. So that gets rid of the Lena. The Knight drops down to 1k. Such a powerful move in water. Unfortunately, Collin couldn't take the knight with it. Yeah, knight's still 1k. There you go. Ooh, what a hit. Collin turns over the Cagnazzo in damage. A very nice hit. Cagnazzo being such a powerful blocker when you're trying to swing into it. Ooh, that hurts though for Collin. Not being able to deal with that knight. That knight can swing in and kill that Cagnazzo. Really one of Water's only main ways to deal with it outside of power reduction is a 9k body. And I think knight's the only 9k really potential in most Water decks. Let's see what Mohammad decides he wants to do here. And he's got another Nicole. Wow, and just like that, he deals with the Cagnazzo very, very easily. Boy, that's such a great card for the mirror, this Nicole, I swear. Drops Collin's Nicole down to 2k. Knight going in. What's Collin going to do? Is he going to stave the damage? No. He takes the damage. And EX is a bronze, so he's going to maybe search for a standard unit. He really can't afford to with his deck size, but I guess he's going to. Get that other knight out. Yep. I think 2 knights are gone, so. And I think 1 knight is still alive. Mohammad's paying 3. Is the Cagnazzo going to come down again? Oh no, maybe Cloud? Cloud of Darkness. And down she comes. Pretty good sequence like that, because if Collin happened to have an answer or 2 to get rid of the Nicole and or Knight and or Cloud. Oh no, the Nicole was 7k, not 8k. So that still would have been fine. Man, I don't know if Mohammad is holding answers or just ripping them, but boy, he's had some really good lines this game. Collin being behind on damage and deck. He's really going to have to do something here. I mean, he's got 5 cards in hand, though. Alright, so Collin opting to use the Gladiator ability to bring back a 3 CP or less standard unit. I would assume he's going to bring back a Knight and maybe play a Waka down. Oh no, he's going to bring back the Viking. Just to stave damage maybe, but I mean at this point his deck is just really far behind on deck. Of course, if he has a couple of cards and the right answers in hand, it really doesn't matter, does it? Mohammed's in a great position, but only having 1 card in hand. I mean, if you dead draw a couple of backups, if Collin's got some answers, he might try him out a comeback. We'll have to see. And there comes the walk. I figured that was the line. What is he going to hand dump? I guess he could hand dump. He discards a Scholar, another card for Nicole. And then pitches 2. Oh no. Okay, so he's going to play down a Knight. Trying to just get some blockers up, prepare for future turns. Guys, we're going to be taking just a very, very brief intermission between game 1 and 2. We're talking no more than a minute, so just stick around. We'll get right back into it and finish this out. And here we go. So Mohammad slamming down a Lena Knight. And just like that, boy, that's really something. So even if Collin has an answer, the Cloud is definitely going to be able to get rid of that Viking. Oh, he's not going to get rid of the Viking. He's just going to go right in for the Knight. So it looks like he just wants to be able to swing through with everything. So Collin letting that 5k power drop resolve and think about what he's going to try and do. I don't know. I think I would have got rid of the Viking there. Maybe he's scared of the card draw. I mean, Mohammed's in a great position. I don't see Collin mounting a comeback. Oh boy. Minus 10k on the Cloud. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Mohammed's board. He played Leviathan. Collin did. So it's a minus 7k. So the Cloud will drop to 2k. And the Viking will actually break the Cloud. Oh boy. And what does... Okay, so he's going to discard a Layla to give Cloud plus 1k and then trade with the Viking? Okay. All right, so not a bad line. I don't know. I think I would have got rid of that Viking, but that seems fine. Don't really know what answers Collin has in his hand. So the Knight's going to swing in. That Veritas effect's going to go off. He's got board. I would assume he just gets rid of the Brawn. What do you guys think? Wait, he opts to get rid of the knight. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So what could he have that he wants to keep the Brawn? Maybe he's got another Len in hand. He's just gonna replay that Len and knight. I mean, that's seems fine to me, actually. He can block the Lena here. Block with Lena here. And then replay it and just stall Collin out. I mean, at this point, I don't think Mohammad has to really try too hard. Yeah, Collin is going to go ahead and concede that one. It's a very, very difficult when you're so far down in water and your deck size. I mean, we're talking 8 card discrepancy now, 10 card after he draws. We're going to take 2 minutes, guys. Those of you just popped in, Collin conceded. He is way behind on deck and just could not generate enough aggression to try and combat that against Mohammad, who seemed to pretty much draw what answers he needed or just hold them for those opportune moments. Yeah, Collin mentioning in chat, no Waka, that definitely hurt until it was almost too late. Guys, thanks for joining us again. Give us 2 minutes. We're going to move on with game 2. Quick AFK. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. We are back in it, ready to go. Thanks for sticking around. See, this isn't like the Square Enix streams. We're not gonna let you guys sit around for 45 minutes without any updates or anything. So we're gonna get you some sweet games, get you on your way. All right, so because Collin lost, he decided he's gonna start us off. Both players opting to take a mulligan. Obviously not happy with their hands. And go for game two. The winner of this match will move on to the finals against the winner of either Alejandro's match against who is he playing? Oh, Chris. That's right. So the winner of that match will play sometime next week. Alejandro and Chris's match will be Sunday at, I believe it's at 10. So tune in. That match definitely going to be interesting. Water ice versus fire ice. All right, so we see Collin overpaying for the Waka. He is not going to be without that this game. Collin did mulligan, so maybe he drew no backups, just Waka, which is unfortunate. He does not run a ton of 3-drop backups, I don't believe. And just like that, Collin is going to put out early aggression and pitch to play a Lena Knight and force Mohammad to answer it somehow. Not having that unit down, he at least has the one backup, so he can pay the full 3 for the Famfrit. But if he does not have an answer, oh boy. I don't think you really want to be taking a whole lot of damage, especially when you're on the draw. Mohammad going ahead to play the Layla Viking. So he's going to at least be able to stave off some of that damage and draw a card while he's at it next turn. Both players maybe not optimally drawing their backups. Having to play a little unconventionally. Let's see, what's Mohammad going to do? He's going to play a 3-drop backup. Maybe he's got a Brawn. Brawn would be a great play here to get that knight out. Oh, just the Waka. Fair enough. Pitching the Yuna, though. He must have a Yuna. He can always follow up next turn and play the Yuna. Yeah, he's got to have a Yuna in hand. You don't just pitch the Yuna like that if you don't already have one. Both players having Waka down helps normalize the board for the rest of the match. And Collin having to be semi-careful here. Isabella, or sorry, thinking about the game Sunday. If Mohammad decides not to block one or both, then they're just going to be trading in damage. Collin opting to swing in with the knight. Oh, what an EX. It's a great EX early game. Get that knight out. Yep, there it is. Great hit for Mohammad. Collin opting to play the Una to make knight just a little bit bigger. And passing. Lena big enough to deal with the Alayla Viking without having to use an answer. Mohammad at 6 cards in hand. He's got a knight in hand, so he could play an equal 6k knight. Not that I would. I mean, do you just swing in Layla Viking here? I don't know. I would just do one at a time. Make Collin think I got something. Mohammad opting to play the Scholar. So maybe he didn't have Una. Maybe he didn't want to get rid of the other cards in his hand. Okay. Mohammad discarding to play a knight. Can contend with Collin's knight. Belena still being an 8k. At least prevent Collin from swinging through with his knight without using an answer. Down comes a gladiator. And Collin opting to continue with the aggression plays. Swing through with Lena and ooh, overturns the second Una. So 2 Unas gone for Mohammad. Unless he's holding that third one. It's going to make his plays over the course of the game less efficient. To be fair, he does only run 6 summons. So not the worst thing in the world, but and are we going to see a Cloud of Darkness? It's pretty early for a Cloud. But he does have a pretty good hand size still. The role's a little bit reversed in this game, in the sense that Mohammad is now behind on deck size. Mohammad playing Batteren, so he's looking for some cards. Maybe he's got a less than ideal hand. He's going to filter through 4 cards. It's for those of you that don't know, it's kind of like a Purim effect. He's going to filter through 4 instead of 3. And then put the rest at the bottom in whichever order you want. It's a fine one-off card in most water decks. Mohammad paying 5 now for the cloud. Just like that, Mohammad gets rid of the knight threat. Collin has no answer in hand for that. Fanfort would have been a pretty good answer. And the Viking goes in for a point. Oh, and the Veritas turns. Good night. That is very unfortunate. Oh, and a Layla turns too. Man. And in comes the knight as well. Collin getting an EX burst in Brawn. He's going to search out probably another knight unless we haven't seen a Viking yet. Nope, we haven't. So he's going to grab the Viking. Pretty good hit if he's got a Viking in hand to at least be able to set up some kind of board next turn. And off of those 3 points of damage, Mohammad has normalized, stabilized the deck count. They're both at 32. I don't know if you guys have checked out the event or if any of you have participated, but we have some very sick prizing donated and gifted by 5 of our fantastic sponsors. Boxes galore. I think there's like 4 or 5 boxes. And I'm throwing in 2 custom play mats with the US Octagon Open art, which is the Bahamut that you've seen. We're going to customize it, and we'll put finalist and then winner on the final 2 players, and they'll have that from me. So some pretty sick stuff. I think we're going to do this every Opus too, so look for us next Opus, Opus 9. The set comes out July, mid to late July, and then you'll have Gen Con early August. So probably sometime in August we'll have the next one. So Collin playing down a Scholar and then paying and pitching to play down a Cloud. Just wants to get rid of a Layla. And give himself another blocker that's pretty relevant. Mohammad paying 4. Is the Veritas coming down? Veritas would be sweet right now. Oh, Nicole. Okay, so minus 4K on both. Allows the Cloud to swing through and get rid of the Lena, which seems pretty sick. Even if you don't have the Cagnazzo or another option with Nicole, it's still so good to be able to get that damage through. Collin EXing a Merrill Web. He's going to draw 2 and discard, so that should help him. Only having 2 cards, now 3. Discards the Viking, so maybe next turn he follows up with the Layla. Oh, and Fanfric comes down. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't think he can afford to use it. Mohammad could just choose to use the Knight, get rid of it, and then still swing through with the Viking to put him at 6. That would... Mohammad says sure. And I swear this guy, he's a pretty funny guy. They're both good guys. Good guys. Real nice guys. Very professional. They definitely know their cards. Fortunately, I didn't get to play Collin. I was actually looking forward to playing him in the top 4, I think it would have been. Collin on his back heels again. He's got 5 cards in hand, though. He can definitely do some stuff. He's got a Gladiator live. Not that he wants to use it, but it's there. What do you guys think? Collin going to be able to come back from this? He's got hand size, but he's not in the greatest position. Just that Nicole absolutely killed him last turn to let all that damage through. Collin definitely taking his time. He's got to make sure that he gets this right. This is a very critical turn for him. All right, so he's going to play down the Purim. He's going searching. I'll put him to 4 cards. Maybe he got a card that he needed. We'll see what happens. He's paying 2 and pitching an Ash to play down the Layla Viking. Collin not worried about deck size right now. He is going all in, trying to get all the draws, trying to go very wide. I'll tell you what, if he's got a Nicole in hand, that's going to be so sick. Oh, he's got Cagnazzo. So we got 9 characters, so minus 5k. Oh boy, and just like that. I'm sorry, 4k. Yeah, that's right, 4k. Just like that, Collin's mounted a pretty good offense. Mohammad gets the draw off the Viking. Cloud is going to go in and potentially hit his Cloud. The Nicole is not, ability is not active right now, so he can't get the plus 1k. Cloud the only attacker. I think he's got to attack and get rid of that Cloud. I don't think he has a choice. Of course, if he has an answer and it doesn't have it, then that's really bad. So you get rid of... He does try and get rid of the Cloud. Crossing fingers that no Famfrit. Oh, and there's no Famfrit. There is a Chuchalane, though. So minus 5k on something. Oh, and that walk it down, preventing Cagnazzo and Purim from getting broken. He's at least going to get rid of the Layla and draw another card. Boy. That's all Collin can do. Unfortunately, can't do anything about the Nicole, but 8k Knight and an 8k Nicole. Oh, no, no, no. Collin getting a little excited, trying to go in for some extra damage. I would have tried to go in for extra damage too there. It's a great line of plays. Removing that cloud of darkness definitely help put Collin back in a position to win. Now, of course, if Mohammad has a backup, he can get that knight to 9k. If he has an answer in hand, he can remove Viking and or Purim. He's got enough cards to. Wonder what he has for answers. He's got 6 cards. Unfortunately, only 5 dual things, so Chuchulain doesn't do a whole lot. Famford doesn't do a whole lot. I think that's the only 2 summons he runs. Unfortunately, he is not running the Leviathan. And Collin is. That new Leviathan would be pretty detrimental right now, especially if he had Una down. You can put down the Una off of 2 cards and then pay on board for 2 Leviathan, get rid of Kag and Purim, and start beating away. But not having Una down and not running that Leviathan does not help you too much when you're behind. Mohammad opting to leave the Gladiator up. Maybe he's got to play for that, just in case. He's got to play down that backup. Yep, there it is. So he gets the backup down to get that knight big enough to deal with the Kag. Oh, if he's got his own Kag right now. Does he have it? And he does have it. So 8 characters, minus 4k across the board. And you just bounce it, don't you? Don't you just bounce it and overpay to play it? And that's game. Collin only having 1 card in hand. And just playing the Purim, so he can't even stop it with the Scholar. Oh no. Guys, I think that's it. That's it. Oh no. That's it. We need a very sexy EX right now. Although I don't think Famford's going to do it. And he's only got 5k off of the Leviathan. 5k off the Chuchulain and draw. Ico turns. And there is damage 7. And just like that, Mohammad has gone 2-0. Won the semi-final match in this Mono Water Mirror. Moves on to the finals where he will either be facing Ice Water or Fire Ice. That's right. Man, what a match. What a match. Guys, I appreciate all of you joining us. Look for us Sunday at 10 p.m. We're going to come back with the Ice Water Fire Ice match. Alejandro from Miami and Man, where is he from? I don't know. Sorry, Chris, Neil, don't know where you're from. Haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, but those two guys are going to battle it out Sunday night. Appreciate you guys joining us. Gonna put up our sponsor screen real quick so you guys can check them out. If you guys need any cards, of course, you're always welcome to shout it at me, message me on Facebook. But these other vendors that help it with the community, help with the game, Cards of Evilise, MA Games, TCG Titans, and the Trading Card Game Pit. Buy your boxes, buy your singles, get whatever you need. We got some big events coming up, and I'll catch you guys later. Appreciate you joining us tonight.